Just when you thought it was over, we started it over. Just a different chapter, but still part of the story. Spirit of a patriot, but the heart of a soldier. If you wasn't part of the grind, you can't be part of the glory. We right here, we ain't going nowhere. It's your worst nightmare. We back and they all scared. Every year is our year. The defense is top tier. Whenever you see that red and blue, it's a new era. They too scared of us. I don't know who said it was over, but they lied. The truth never miss, kicking down the door like who let him in. We been grinding and we ain't worried about the small talk. We big timers.
Yeah, can't believe it, we ain't leaving. Yeah, we achieving, can't be beaten. See it loud, see it proud from the top of my lungs. Hometown, sacred ground, you ain't trying with us. Around this time, you really can't deny. You can't run, you can't hide when the Patriot comes.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Patriots Friday Night Lights podcast, brought to you by Boston Sports Entertainment Network. I'm Brendan. I'm here with Dog Nation. We have a soft football team. That's kind of that's the theme of this week.
How you feel about that?
Where Mayo is coming from, I get it. Like, I don't think it's supposed to be derogatory, and I think only the media has really taken it derogatory, because every time a Patriots player has come out, they're like, yeah, he's right. Like, we get what he's trying to do. Like, he's trying to light a fire under us. So, like, I don't think it's a bad thing. The fact that Mayo kind of, like, had to go back and, like, redact what he said and change it isn't the best look, but I feel like it was nice hearing from the players, because the media just took it and just made a huge storm out of it. There's like former players like J.J. Watt was saying that like it's a bad look, but I don't know. I think the way because he said that he talked to the players beforehand anyways, so I think he handled it fine.
Yeah, I think what it came down to was him publicly saying it versus him saying it to them in private. It's like, all right, you say it to them in private. It's like, all right, coach trying to light a fire under us, but going out to say it to the public, I feel like what are the players supposed to say? Unless they're supposed to act like what KJ Osborne and everybody else, what are they supposed to say when they come to the podium? Be like, yeah, I feel some type of way about what coach said. No, they're probably not realistically trying to throw him under the bus. I don't think they hate him, but you know what I mean? I do think some people felt some type of way about it because they've been taking little shots at each other. But the problem going to come in is if the team just look like it's like just regressing. Because I feel like, you know, some people like with Belichick, they're like, oh, like he's being petty. Not really. Like I don't look at it like that. Like those are players that he drafted. A lot of them that he named off, he drafted them. So he has the right to, you know what I mean, come up and speak up for him, because it's like, it's almost like, all right, how much do you got to hear about, oh, well, they just don't got talent. They don't got this. Like, these dudes is football players. Like, I don't want to sit here and continue to hear that they don't got talent. That's why they get blown out every week and don't look like they just prepared. No, I think it just goes much deeper than that. And now it's just like, so much coming out to the media, like, yeah, well, maybe Gerard Mayo was in over his head, and like, damn, who the fuck is pushing his, you know what I mean? Who's pushing this information out there?
So right. I mean, it's like basically everyone's calling for Mayo's job, saying that there was no way he was ready at any point, and like it's just gone from like 0 to 100.
And he wasn't, but now I just feel like it'll be a really like, I feel like it's a catch-22 situation right now, right? It'll look really bad. It'll look real Carolina Panther-ish if they let Gerard Mayo bring him on for 1 year and then just fire him. Or was it Carolina Panthers that did that? Or was it?
Well, they did that. They did that midway through the season.
Who
with the new guy?
Steve Wilkes. Yeah, I think he was in his first season there.
Yeah, it was like week 6, or it was like super early. They just like let him go.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a catch-22 because this is a time where Robert Kraft is trying to get into the Hall of Fame, and it doesn't really look smart that you're piggyback into the Hall of Fame. You now kind of having a public media war with him. And
Hmm.
also, it looks like your choice in Gerard Mayo, like you trying to sell it to the world 7 years ago. You seen how special he was. Um, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we're not seeing it right now. So it's just like
Right.
Robert Kraft. Like, do you want to sit there and watch the team continue to go in that direction and hope that it gets better next year, or is he going to make the changes that need to be necessary now,
Yeah.
because it's like that whole coaching staff, front office. Well, the front office, their experience. That's why, like a lot of people, they say things. Oh, Belichick this, Belichick that. Matt Groh, he ran, if I'm not mistaken, 2 drafts. I think he ran the
Yes.
2021 and the 2022 draft. So it's like
Right.
the Cole Strange pick. It was head scratching, but he did end up turned into a good player, but just off the simple fact of could they have traded back to get him? But I guess from Bill's standpoint, he wanted the 5th year option. So
Yeah. I just don't see Kraft like I see Jerome Mayo being here next year. I think we get pretty
it'd
much
be
the
a
whole
bad look.
staff. Because like if Kraft lets go of Mayo this year, right, that's a horrible look on Kraft being like, I've been waiting
I,
for 5 years on this. I just let go of the greatest coach of all time,
I
and
feel like
then I just
somewhat.
fired the successor.
I feel like somewhat. If everybody takes accountability, if everybody takes accountability in what transpired, then I feel like they can kind of shade it off. If it was just to come out like, well, listen, we parted ways for this reason, and him and both Gerard Mayo acknowledged that maybe, what I mean, he's not prepared for this at this time, and we don't want to continue to ruin his career, as well as, what I mean, walk the
Mm,
franchise into dark ages, because it's like realistically, like they said, Gerard Mayo don't have the experience, not really much so around him and in his background to be a head coach right now, because the defense, Steve Belichick was calling the defense. You know what I mean? They said Gerard Mayo was what was he? He was more like the, I forget. Like he was something. Something within the he was like a de facto defensive coordinator, but mainly
right.
Steve
Yeah.
Belichick. And
Right.
that's why I was sitting here looking at it just over the last like 4 years. The
Mm,
Patriots defense in total has 100 takeaways.
yeah.
And that's it. And that's over the last 4 years. 30 fumbles, 70 interceptions. So it's like, well, last year they only had 10 last year, so it had already started to regress last year. But still, I feel like Bill squeezed a lot out of it. You know what I mean? And whatever's going on with DeMarcus Covington, like this ain't the same defense from last year. So we can
Yeah.
kind of
It's
just like hang
yeah.
that
Yeah. It's
up.
definitely a lot. I mean, we've let up right 30 points to the Jags, 40 points to the Texans. We're letting up like I think it was 180 rushing yards per game the last 3 games. Like this
Right.
is a totally different defense from the previous years, and I
The
mean
Patriots,
we're only week 7, so if things got to improve obviously, but
yeah, I
the
feel like for the Patriots to flourish with what they have now, and this is just my opinion, from a schematic standpoint, I feel like with the defense, stop moving Gonzalez around. It's not that he's not doing a bad job. He's doing like actually an amazing job. But you are
mm,
also, when you move him around, you may be putting other cornerbacks in compromising positions because they might not be as comfortable. You know what I mean? Lined up where they are, because Gonzalez has to take the number one weapon wherever he is. So now their guy may be like far out. You know what I mean? They
right, yeah, like a
wing or yeah,
corner
so
that's
it's
used to
like
being like a slot corner, we bring him out wide
yeah,
because
Marcus
Fonzo has
like
to switch
Marcus
in.
Jones. You don't want
Right,
Marcus Jones on
right,
the perimeter and A lot of that has been happening. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, but his size limitation has been proven to be a problem. So you got
Yeah,
that
he's more in
part.
the middle of the field.
Yeah,
He
like
can kind of
I would
keep
bring
up.
him in on dimes. I would bring him in on dime situations. Like
Hmm.
Gonzalez, I would just keep him on one side of the field just to lock it down. You know what I mean? Have him lock that side of the field down. And they got to unlock the versatility that they got in Martin Mapu and Keon White. Keon White can play inside and out. Mapu can play sometimes down at linebacker. You also can play it, obviously strong safety.
Safety, yeah.
But it's
Right.
like they don't have a guy to consistently play that single high role that they might want to play because Jalen Hawkins, he's been terrible. Uh,
Hmm.
Del Pettis is more of a strong safety. Like they don't have a free safety that can really like cover on the back end for real. So
Right. And it's funny because when Bill would kind of run it, he would have the number one corner on the number two receiver, and then he
hmm
would just have double coverage on the one. So like, right,
or
if the number
sometimes
one is on Gonzo's side,
three.
he can just line up with him. If he goes to the other side, just do a double team. Gonzo can get whoever
Yep.
is the second guy,
Yep.
right? Because then, right, you have a Marcus Jones if he has help up top every time he's going outside of the slot, right? That puts him in a much better position if he needs to still be outside.
Right. Right. Yeah, because you're always gonna have to shade some type of help to Marcus Jones' side or hope that the pass rush gets there because eventually, what I mean, he might crack in coverage because
Yeah,
he's only and like I said, had he been at least 5'11", 6 feet, we'd be having a totally different conversation because off of pure talent alone, he can play. It's just
right.
like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
size limitation. You
yeah. And
know,
it stinks because like you said, the pass rush needs to get there, but they're not getting there. Like our pass rush has been pretty much non-existent since week two. I mean, Keon White hasn't had a sack since then, so it definitely just needs to have help coverage with Marcus Jones or whoever else the other corner is. Right, they kind of need to rely on each other rather than hoping for the front line to get at the quarterback because it's really not
yeah,
happening.
yeah. They need to move Keon White around on the line where he's a threat where they have to account for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Offensive line should be fearing, oh, he's right there over the guard. Oh, he's out there on the outside of the tackle. Now he's at the nose, or you know what I mean? That's
Mm,
it, that's just in situational football because you might have a certain package that you want to run in certain down and distances. Maybe on third and long, you feel like there's something you done brought in during the week, moving Keon White maybe inside on this particular package on a particular guard at work or what I mean, things like that. Bill will find things
right.
to do like that.
Yeah, and the way he can pass rush will be different, like different techniques that he can use. If he's on the
Mhm.
outside, right, he's either doing like a swim move or kind of
Yep.
doing spinning around. Where if he's on the inside, it's more of a bull rush, right? He's gonna be kind of changing it up, so he's less predictable. Um,
Keon White has to get better like play recognition and not always playing at one speed because a lot of times it's not like he's getting bullied. He's running past the play. So it's
right.
like they they
Yeah.
they, they know he's very aggressive, and that
Yep.
was a problem with Jamie Collins, the freelancing.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like if we keep moving him in and out, he's gonna have a bigger role in the defense. So then he's gonna have to kind of play the defense rather than just like, okay, this is my guy. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I need to do to get back there. And he kind of forgets about that. There's 11 other players on the field that he kind of needs to take accountability for. So that might help him kind of bring everything back in, get a little bit more technique, kind of change his style, and hopefully focus more on stopping the play rather than just getting at the quarterback.
Yeah, because to me, looking at the Patriots, I feel like Mac Jones was the problem because if had you still had Belichick, I feel like the defense would still be up to standard. And had Belichick had his hands on Drake May, I feel like this would look totally different because the receivers do look better with him. we can't deny that they look,
and the offensive line.
yeah, they actually look capable of moving the ball more with him. So,
Yeah,
but it's
because
just like I said, they got rid of Bill, but they still kept certain people that they probably shouldn't have. And then you resigned all his former players and everything else. So obviously you liked something about Bill.
yeah,
Because then what they said, Gerard Mayo, they used to call him Gerard Belichick or something like that.
yep,
So
Gerard
you still,
Belichick. Yep.
obviously there was still something that you want to implement it from Bill into that building. But also at the same time, you got uh, um, the GM Elliot Wolf coming out. Yeah, we're
Hmm.
going with a much softer approach and things like that. I can
Hmm.
understand how Bill Belichick would get annoyed by something like that because it's like you guys are publicly like coming out basically trying to like shame what I did here, and then also look at it the Dynasty documentary. You know what I mean?
That was horrible. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
like I just feel like so anybody that can really realistically take a step back and look at it, this is Kraft's doing. Like this team and everything else. Like I said, a lot of people, whether they supported it or not, Belichick had a contingency plan for Brady. It was Garoppolo. Like I said, was he
hmm,
completely insane to think about it? No. Because yeah, Tom Brady did defy the odds, but we're sitting here looking at Aaron Rodgers and seeing that, yeah, everybody ain't Tom. You feel me? And
yeah,
Belichick made a human mistake betting against him, but realistically, had Tom Brady stayed until he retired up in 2022, we might have would have been in this problem. And guess what? 2022, there weren't that many good quarterbacks. 2023, maybe we would have had our crack at a CJ Stroud, but he's looking like pretty much the only good quarterback to come out of that one. Anthony Richardson barely stays on the field. Will Levis ain't it. He went in the second
right.
round.
Yeah.
Bryce Young then got benched. So that's what I'm saying. Like, can we if we realistically look at this from a real picture, kind of what's going on as far as the team needing to be rebuilt, it was already coming. You know what I mean? That was already going to be in the works. So
Hmm.
do I
Yeah, because yeah, Bill drafted Gonzo and Keon,
right,
right? That was establishing a young defense, and then right, we also have Duggar and all of them. I mean, we re-signed pretty much everyone, but like you were saying, if he had Drake, it definitely would have been a better, like a whole nother situation. I mean, we could probably be looking at another 3 or 4 years of Bill, to be honest, because like the Bills' defense, the best thing that they were good at or that they did was turnovers and getting
right,
better field position. Right, Mac Jones, he would start at good field position and then never finish the drive. And then they
right,
would just kill and kill and kill and kill. Where I mean, you
yeah,
see it with Drake May. I mean, last week he had like the over 90-yard drive, and it was like super fluid. Right, the penalties were minimal. I mean, I feel like
and
he making good decisions, and I don't know. It could have been a totally different situation for
and
sure.
and one thing I will point to, because I heard Mike Lombardi said this. One of them I know for sure myself, but I heard Mike Lombardi said this earlier. They lost 8 one-score games last year. They were
Right,
4-13.
right.
So, and at the same time, too, the Patriots were the first team since I forget when to lose to only hold teams to 10 points or less in 3 straight games and lose
Yep,
all of them.
yep,
So it's
yep.
like people gotta kind of take a step back and look at the overall picture. Like, the Matt Patricia hiring was a bad one. Like I said, it had its upside in it too, because realistically, had Jacoby Myers not decided right then and there on the field that he wanted to be a Las Vegas Raider, we was
Mm,
talking could have been talking about a different game in overtime. And Ramondre Stevenson fumbling the ball as always on the
you're
three
right.
on the three
Right.
yard line against Cincinnati. We was that was they had no more touchdowns. We had a walk in
Mm,
clock's ticking. Play the clock, walk in touchdown. game over. And the Patriots were down what? I think 25-0 in the first half of that game.
Yeah, something like that.
And
Yeah.
the defense shut Cincinnati out in the second half. But
Mhm.
certain people, you got your fans that just want to look at the end result, and you got people like us that try to look at the totality of the picture. I said Gerard Mayo. I'm not gonna sit here because I loved him as a player. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here
Mhm.
and bash the guy, but do I think he was ready for the role? No. And I felt like this is how it was gonna look because
Yeah, anyone who thinks that we're going to be better than we are is kind of crazy. Like I was maybe 3 wins, but like we all knew that we were going to be terrible, and that's just how it is. I feel like with Mayo, right, with Drake May, we they put him in when he was ready. He was able to kind of sit, learn, and then go in, and now he's playing really well. I feel like kind of be a similar approach to Mayo, right? He's in a whole new position, just like Drake. He's learning on the fly. I mean, he's in the situation kind of like where Bryce Young, where like, he's just thrown into a horrible situation, and
I don't
all the
feel like he was
expectations are on him.
thrown. I don't feel like he was thrown in a horrible situation. My viewpoint is like this. From they saying that he was late to team meetings last year because he was secretly meeting with Kraft behind Bill's back. So I feel like that's where he kind of made his bed at. Because if you already knew there was kind of like a little bit of an internal conflict between the two, I felt like Gerard Mayo, knowing the state of the team and realistically looking at it, it was a rushed hire. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
probably
according to Kraft, it was 5 years in the making,
I
but
wouldn't I wouldn't have took I wouldn't have
who
took the
knows?
position because it's like, and then like I said earlier on Twitter, he explains himself too much. Why do you gotta go sit down with whatever that guy's name is from the radio store and you're explaining yourself why you went for two in that situation, and it's kind of like they're going back and forth, but it's just like, why? All right, yeah, we do know you would have had to go for two at some point anyway. But why do you feel the need to have a sit down with the man that's really starting up a ruckus about this? You feel me? Like
Yeah,
we can talk
I
about that
wonder
person always point.
I wonder if Kraft has something to do with that. Just where Bill never did that. Maybe Kraft is trying to get the media
Yeah,
portion of the Patriots up,
Gerard's
and
like,
he's
yeah,
just
he
forcing
was
them.
wide open. Yeah, he was wide open, by the way. But we would have had to go for two anyway. And like, come
Yeah,
on. Come on, bro. Like, why is you explaining yourself to him? Like, you are the football coach at the end of the day. Yeah, the media is gonna get loud and everything else, but it's like you giving them crumbs and everything else to go out there and go after because he is like they say, he comes out, say things, and then walks himself back. Then also at the same time, you criticize your players in the media, then come take that back, or you know what I mean? Or why does the roster look so bad? Oh, I'm not even gonna go there. Instead of coming out, hey, listen, these guys are NFL players. You know what I mean? We got to coach better. This, that, and the third. So it's like to hear that, to say like somebody constantly telling you like you suck or anything else, like why would they want to play for you to even keep your job? Because these
yeah,
NFL players, maybe they might not, some of them might not get a big contract, but a lot of these guys do know they can walk away from the Patriots and still get compensated, maybe around the same, if not better, and
right. Yep.
be in a better situation. Because obviously, what was it like? Are they like? I don't get what they want. Like, oh, Bill was too tough. So okay, so now when Mayo comes out and calls his players soft, that's a
I
problem. Bill
saying
defends.
Bill's too
Yeah,
hard in football, I think is just so stupid. It's football. Like,
yeah.
what are we talking about? Like, we're not trying to baby these guys. Like, these are grown men playing a super violent sport. Like, what
Grown,
are we talking about being too hard? That's so stupid. It makes no
grown,
fucking sense.
grown
And
man,
I hated that stuff.
and that's what I'm saying. It's like at the end of the day, for anybody to be like, and even Alex Van Pelt, like saying that the receiver group need to keep their focus inward and all this other stuff. It's like, no, we got our focus on you because it's not like your play calling is like, and that's what I'm
Right.
saying. The coaching staff, it's like with that coaching staff, they're not taking enough on themselves. See, I feel like DeMarcus Covington did, but I feel like Mayo and Van Pelt is kind of like
I mean, you have
we're
Keishon Booty
yeah
multiple
we're
times
doing
being
we're
like,
doing
"Yeah, we got to be more aggressive." I told the coach in multiple games, we got to be more aggressive.
yeah
Like
we're doing
that's
our job.
bad.
We're doing our jobs. It's the players. Like nah, like Van Pelt, like I think and what's going to be sad is this: the Patriots could possibly get too much of a good thing, which I don't want to see happen. That like let's say Drake May continues to play well and he plays above above average behind his offensive line that they'd have been shaking up. They might use that as another excuse to not address the offensive line in the offseason and try to go
Hmm.
after weapons again because like they said, they're gonna weaponize the offense. That's exactly what they were trying to do in the draft. That's why everybody's like, oh, well, they didn't spend money. Pay attention to what they did in the draft. They double dipped on wide receivers. You know,
Hmm.
obviously they took a tackle in the third round and
Hmm.
they took Drake May in the first. But like I said, they were never concerned about even trying to get back up to even get any of the tackles that were going in the first round. They were concerned
Yeah.
trying to get up there to get Xavier Worthy. So it's like that should go to show you where this coaching, this front office, where they're focused at. Because it's like I said, I'm not saying Polk's a bad player because he actually realistically was a good player at
I was
Washington.
gonna say, yeah. Let's talk
Or
about Polk.
number three though, but he did, and this is me being honest. I think it's Taekwon Underwood. I think was his former wide receivers coach at
Hmm.
Washington. That's
Yep.
when he gets picked there. But it's like I said, I think he's a good player. But realistically, when going in thinking, knowing that you need an offensive line, I feel like Jalen Pope didn't come in and boost the wide receiving core because now we're still calling for another wide receiver to come in. So now it's like, all right, you took a wide receiver last year with the second round pick. Now we don't know this year if we should take a wide receiver or a left tackle in the first round because you need both. So how do you feel about the drop off from receiver and tackle? I can tell you
Hmm.
now, just from me doing my own scouting, like I said, and you're definitely gonna be one of the first ones to get it in your hand when I finish up on these report cards as far as like the 2025 draft. But
Yeah.
after about three tackles, you know what I mean? I got three in my top three. There's a significant drop off from there. A significant drop off from there. Wide
Hmm.
receiver, there's some droppage. So maybe the Patriots could, because realistically, the Patriots are looking at probably a top three pick. So you will have
Right.
a
Yep.
top three pick in the second round as well. So they're going to have an opportunity to get two first round picks this year. I think, in being in the position that they're in, I think they'll be in a good position to trade back and also get two first round picks for next year as well. And
Yeah. Yeah. We got to stock. Got to stock.
yeah, if I was the Patriots and I'm so high up that all right, I'm still stuck in the quarterback area, I would try to trade back but still stay in the range. Make somebody give up what they want to get in there, but I'll still try to stay in the range of where somebody would need a quarterback. Because then I'm going to try to trade back again. That way I'm
Right.
going to try to get have three first round picks going into the following season. Because, like I said, look at a lot of these young teams that people are talking about. The Texans, they had multiple years with two first round picks, obviously from the Deshaun Watson trade. The
Hmm.
Vikings, they then had years where they had multiple first round picks. The Packers, um, I can go
Right.
on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can keep going
Right.
on. There's a host of teams. The only team that I can say that botch their picks like that, which I feel like people don't pay attention to enough, is the Raiders. They had six of them in 3 years, and within I think the first 2 years, a lot of them wasn't even on the team. Josh Jacobs obviously is a Packers now, but they had
Right.
taken Cleveland Farrell, Jonathan
Yep.
Abram, Damon Arnett, Alex Leatherwood, and obviously Henry Ruggs. Those are all
Yeah.
players that did like everything just ended like so badly for them. So
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping
That's
that
really bad.
yeah, and I'm hoping that that doesn't become us because the Raiders did something similar when they hired John Gruden and then they made Mike Mayock, which was a draft analyst, no GM background.
Hmm.
They put Mike Mayock in office, and that's what happened with the Amari Cooper got traded and Cleveland Farrell got traded. I mean, not Cleveland Farrell and Khalil Mack
Khalil
got
Mack.
traded. And
Yeah.
what they got back in the draft was a Cleveland Farrell and a Josh Jacobs to try to replace that production
Yeah.
the safety.
Where I think we're in a better position potentially is if Drake May continues to develop and looks really good. Not only if we trade back, we get more draft picks. We can either draft or we can use that to get like a like what the Eagles did with AJ Brown, right?
Right.
You bring in someone like if Drake May is the guy and people are looking to trade a really high level player, right? We don't have to worry about a quarterback. We don't.
They got
It
equity.
takes away a
Yeah.
lot, and then also we can get free agents. So then,
Right.
even if a draft pick doesn't hit, we're in a better spot because we can get a free agent. Hopefully, kind of takes away from that. Like with the 49ers, where they're able to get like Christian McCaffrey. Their team is loaded, but I mean their draft history with like quarterbacks and first round picks is actually really bad,
Right.
but they're able to get all these players and it looks okay. So like if Drake May is really good, we can bring in all these people, right? And then we can just build up this draft capital. And even if we draft even if like 30% of them hit, right,
Yeah.
we'll be in a better position because we're able to get all these other guys in outside of the draft. So like I think we should definitely trade down. I'm 100% on board with trading down, but there's so many different avenues we can take with it and try to avoid being like the Raiders.
Yeah, I feel like
Because
the Patriots honestly can trade down all the way to about maybe 8 or 9 and still get
yeah,
by.
so I
And
think the next five teams behind us currently, I think they all
need
like
quarterback.
getting a quarterback.
They all need
So that automatically takes us out of the top five, which is, I mean, moving down 5 draft positions in the top five is huge.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they'll still be in a good position because who else besides like a lot of like I said, you're looking at a lot of these teams. You're gonna know who needs quarterbacks and who. So a lot of them gonna want to stay firm at their picks. So it's like let's say
Hmm.
realistically,
I
the
see New
Giants,
Orleans.
the Giants that's one. New Orleans is two. Las Vegas is three.
Yeah, and they're at
This
8.
could be four.
Rams
Cleveland
might be,
5.
right?
Yeah,
They're kind of their talks of them being sellers. I mean, I know they've won a couple in a row, so things might be changing. But
right.
Stafford's getting older. I mean,
Yeah,
there was talks of him going to the trade talks with like the Vikings.
yeah.
I mean, potentially.
Carolina,
Um,
that's 6 teams there too. Carolina, if they give up on Bryce Young.
yeah, Seattle might. They might be kind of tired. I know they just signed Gino, but he's not looking anything crazy.
Yeah, they might have to start pivoting to the future.
Yeah,
Um,
so Colts. I mean, I don't know if you
Philly,
have to continue the season, but I mean,
Philly.
I've never been on the team Anthony.
What about Philly?
Uh, True. I mean,
That could be a dark horse. Is
yeah, that could, yeah, right.
that good?
Uh,
Dallas, maybe.
I don't know. I don't see Jerry Jones doing that. He's such a stubborn prick, and he just spent fucking $1 billion on Dak. I just maybe in a couple of years, but I mean, yeah, I mean that's like 10 teams we just named off.
Yeah, and on top of that, that's Travis Hunter range. You got to think aside from the quarterbacks, that's Travis Hunter range. But At the end of
Hmm.
the day, too, this isn't a particularly strong quarterback draft neither. So it's like we're gonna see how skilled Elliot Wolf is with the draft because he's gonna have a lot of decisions to make because some quarterbacks are taking a step back. I can tell you one right now that I got my eye on, and remember you heard it here first that
Hmm.
right around draft time or probably towards the end of this season, he may start spiking up if he has a big performance against like Ohio State or somebody. And I'm talking about Drew Aller from Penn State.
Okay.
He got prototypical size, arm strength, can make the off platform throws. We just want to probably see more from him in the big games. So you already know it's a measurable league. If he comes in, he's gonna measure out at about 6'4.5", 6'5". You feel me?
Hmm.
Arm's gonna be a rocket arm. Like I say, athletically, he's gonna wow you. If
Yeah.
he comes in, let's just say his 40 times great. You know what I mean? Like he has good workouts. I think he's gonna start climbing some boards
Kind of like
because
Anthony Richardson once he kind of did the combine and all that.
yeah, because some people Cam Ward's very good in college, but I don't really got him as
Yeah.
a crazy pro. So that's why I don't really even see him being like a target in that top lottery area. So I try to like kind of take him out of it. Carson Beck could be a target, especially after what you've seen
Yeah.
Georgia do to Texas. I think Quinn Ewers falling a little bit. He could possibly
Yeah. That
a
loss
late
was not a
first.
good bet. Yeah.
I feel like Quinn Ewers is he's gonna be one of them people that gets like I feel like overdrafted. You know what I mean? No disrespect to him because it's like I feel like a lot of players are gonna get overdrafted this year because
Shador.
need teams just need these players, need certain
Yeah.
things and things like that. I feel like the Patriots aren't in a position really
Yeah.
to say, oh, we need this, we need that when they need so many things. The Patriots gotta pick best player available at this point. Like each time, honestly, when you going up to the podium, it should be a no brainer for you to want the best player available at that time that's on the board to come to the roster because it's so, you know
So
what I
many
mean?
holes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it just looks lifeless. Like I'm not even gonna
Yeah.
sit here and call the team talentless because I'm not gonna disrespect them like that. And honestly, when I use them on Madden, I win a lot with the Patriots. So you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
They're usable. So
Yeah.
it's like at the end of the day, I just feel like there's some schematic things, especially I can even show you a couple months ago when I was looking at it, I had Jalen Pope pro comparison to Jacoby Myers. So
Hmm.
I see more so Pope is more of an inside player, but I feel like because the Patriots don't really have that solidified perimeter threat or big receiver on the outside, they
Hmm.
can't really push him inside because now that's going to take Pop Douglas off the field, who's only 5'8", 175 pounds. So you don't really want him on the perimeter because he can get pressed, especially what I mean. Pop Douglas, you're not seeing him take no snaps on the ball. You know what I mean? So if you start moving
Right.
folk inside, then where does that leave Pop Douglas? So that's what I said. They have a problem where it's like they would probably need another perimeter threat in this draft. Somebody that can like make those catches in confined space and beat one-on-one man coverage. Got some size, speed to him, good route running. And
Hmm.
I feel like that'll kind of solidify the wide receiving core where you can slide Pope to the inside and maybe you got a Pop Douglas as your fourth option. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I know it sounds crazy, but I just find it hard for, what I mean, a wide receiver of that size and that stature to be like the focal point of the offense because Patriots need tight ends too. There's a few good ones in this draft, so I feel like they might get their hands on them. But
Yeah.
like I said, they're
Eh,
just in a position where they need so much.
right. And that's why we got to trade down. I think the Raiders will be a would be a team that I would press because I think they're really in on Shadir Sanders. I
Yep.
mean, you saw him talking to the owner and being like the owner telling him that this could be his home, and Deion Sanders being like he can either play for the Raiders or Miami or whatever. And I think the Patriots should really press on the Raiders because I think we can get them to
Yeah.
oversell pretty easily for
Because
Shadir.
realistically, the Raiders, depending on who comes in to be the coach, but the Raiders probably out of all those teams, it might be the most attractive one to want to come in and play for because you already got Brock Bowers as well as Mike Mayers there. So if the Raiders they
Mm-hmm.
come in get a quarterback as well as now, all right, they didn't traded Devontae Adams, but can they get another? They still got Jacoby Myers, but can they get another receiver in there to come play with Shador? So, but a lot of those teams, honestly, a lot of those quarterbacks that have good targets to throw to, Cleveland, Jerry Judy, you got New York, Malik Neighbors. If another quarterback comes in, they have him to throw to. There's another wide receiver I'm thinking about right now too. I just can't. I'm trying to think about those teams that's up there in that top range. I'm sorry, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks that have some good targets on them. So uh, we'll see. The Patriots just gonna have to read the draft and know if trading back is good or. But honestly, I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like honestly if they miss out on Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks, there's a tackle over at West Virginia that, in my opinion, is just as good, but people might not rate him as high because seeing the level of competition that he faced. But measurably, he measures out just like Will Campbell. You know what I mean? I feel like he's far more athletic,
Mm-hmm.
got more upside. Kelvin Banks is honestly like I said for height wise, I done gave him a D because he's built more like
Okay.
a guard. You know what I mean? He's built more like an NFL
Yeah.
guard. He's a smaller like he's an Isaiah Wynn. You know what I mean? We wonder why it didn't work.
Okay. Yeah.
Isaiah Wynn on the edge. Isaiah Wynn was always seemed like he was best suited to be a guard in the
Right.
NFL.
Shorter arms.
Shorter arm, yeah, and that's no. He has good length. He just has a shorter stature. You know what I mean? So it's like he can beat you out on the first move, but he has some problems with the second move and things of that sort. So it's like to see an NFL pass rusher at this level where he's going to see some length that might be longer than his because you're seeing the 6'7s and the 6'6s and the 6'5s and things like that. These defensive
Mm-hmm.
ends coming with in the NFL. So, like I said,
Right.
long term, don't be surprised if Kelvin Banks ends up getting moved inside to be at the guard position.
Mm.
So that's what I said. Like the Patriots can still, I feel like they'll be in a great position, honestly, to trade back and still get what they need right there. Some people saying go wide receiver first round. I say the droppage from tackle and wide receiver. I would go with the tackle first.
Right. There's less options with the tackle than the receiver, so kind of
It-
go after them
or
first.
honestly, even try to get back up to get an efficient tight end or another piece on defense. There's some great edge rushers coming up in this draft as well. So maybe if you try to use that second round pick to try to get back in and get a stud maybe on defense or at the tight end position, because it's like wide receiver, you guys double dipped on it last year. So it's like,
Right.
how many times are we gonna have to see you guys continue to take a wide receiver in the second round?
Yeah. My big thing with the receiver, I mean, there's so many good ones in the
Right.
league already. Like I feel like we could easily tackle that in just with free agency, especially if Drake May's good, right? Receivers are going to want to come here. I feel like it's easier to just find a receiver that we can just get in the free agency than it is to draft, especially just
Yeah.
with our history. I mean,
Here
like you said, we double dip all the time. I mean, it just never freaking works.
and here's the problem though. With Van Pelt, I feel like two things can be true. Is he good for Drake May? Yes. Is he a good play caller? No. because I feel like I can give him credit with his quarterback coaching background. Drake May has looked very, very, very good. So I'm not.
Mm,
If I would give him credit for that, if that's what's going on, but the play calling, he should probably give that up. But see, here's the problem with that: they've already given it to him. So to strip it from him might cause a problem. He leaves the team, or it's like. But
yep.
at the same time, we do need another offensive coordinator. So to sit here and say fire him, could that do more harm than it be do good? Because maybe he just is in over his head, and he shouldn't particularly be in that position. But you still want him for Drake May.
Right. I think it's so important with quarterback development to try to keep the offensive staff as consistent as possible. So just getting rid of Van Pelt just in entirety, I don't think would be the best. But like if we can have Van Pelt be in a smaller role, right? Like not play calling, but he's still the offensive coordinator. He's still kind of getting his hands on Drake. I feel like it just the consistency of just who Drake May needs to go to, who needs to talk to him, that will help with just like keep Drake May improving over the weeks.
Yeah,
I don't want him getting too many voices like with Mac, right? He had so many voices talking to him his last year. I
so
mean,
look at even
there's
Justin
no one
Herbert.
to
Look
right.
look
Exactly,
how much.
exactly.
Even though John Harbaugh, he hasn't. He's a good coach, but it's like they done basically took the air out of the ball with him. So it's like now, he's looking more like that Michigan type of Jim Harbaugh, that hard defense. We're gonna pound the rock on you just
Yeah,
here and
it was
there.
always a weird hire getting Jim Harbaugh. Like obviously he's a great coach, but with having Justin Herbert, like you're not really playing to your strengths. I feel like.
Yeah, they should have got an offensive coach. Ben Johnson, I feel like would have been great over there. And that's what
Right.
everybody's asking for the Patriots to do and things like that. But it's like he turned down, if I'm not mistaken, he turned down even having an interview with us for anything or like don't want to come here.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson turned because he was interviewing with a few teams, but then he wanted to stay with the Lions because he said that he had unfinished business. Um,
Yeah, because he knew already. Like, what's the point of him sitting there jumping around when he already has a good situation that obviously they're going to continue to look good because they kept that team together and continuously adding pieces. They've been
yeah,
playing together for the last couple of years and they've grown together. So I expect them to come out and look like a comparable offense coming out. And that's what I would hope for with the Patriots. But like I said, do we even know if Alex Van Pelt's still going to be the offensive coordinator? And if we do get rid of him overall, is it going to hurt Drake May? Because like I said, to his credit, Drake May has looked phenomenal.
really fucking good. Yeah,
Yeah, like I didn't like when he played. He didn't make any wrong reads. Like obviously, like when he was getting the ball in people's hands and everything, I was just looking at him like, wow, like he's going
yeah. I mean,
with the
against the
ball,
blitz, he was top four in the league on PFF with
right?
quarterback rating, which is enormous for a rookie quarterback. I mean, against the pressure is always kind of like a telltale of like if a rookie quarterback is sucking or not. It's kind of
Yeah,
against
his
the
deep
pressure.
ball,
That's what all teams do when they face a rookie quarterback, and he's been so good
yeah,
against the
and
run.
and realistically, honestly, I feel like their passing game should go through Kayshawn Booty because honestly, I
Mm,
feel like if you get him some targets in the game and make him the focal point of your passing game on the perimeter. Because
yeah,
honestly, he's been the one to step up to the plate.
he hasn't dropped a single ball every
Yeah,
target.
when the ball is being thrown to him, he just stepped up to the plate. So it's like, yeah, all right, you got your Pop Douglas, but like I said, what good is Pop Douglas down in the red zone? Unless he can shake on somebody and get into an open spot. Other than that, you need guys like, yeah, you can get Hunter Henry down there, but he's getting up there in age. Pope,
Right.
Polk would be a perfect option in the slot, but like I said,
Yeah, he
you
can't
want
catch anything.
Douglas on the field to get some separation. So
Yeah,
that's
and with
Patriots. They just
Booty, like, yeah, I think with Booty, like everyone was saying that like him calling for the ball was like not a good look, and like that he's kind of
why.
it just didn't look good. I think it's awesome. You want your receiver to be like, give me the fucking ball. Like, what are
Right.
you doing? Like, that's the kind of guy you want. A dog. I think Kayshon Boutte is a dog. All he wants to do is have the football and make plays, and he's showing it. He's proving it. Like, I mean, he's been arguably the best receiver on our team besides Demario, which I
Right.
mean, and I think that's the only reason why Demario's been better is because Bootie's not getting as many targets, which
Right.
he should, because he's been lights out every single time.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, all right, yeah, y'all want to get Jalen Polk going, but if you see you got something going already with Booty, why are you not
Keep
getting?
it going.
Yeah, you might like nobody else is stepping up to the plate. All right, Tyquan Thornton had a good week. All that's
Get
about
him the
is
fuck
them trying
out.
to
Oh
polish.
my
Yeah,
god.
they trying to polish him up. So because the trade deadline's Tuesday.
Right, next week. Yeah,
So obviously they want to get Tyquan Thornton off the roster. Let's say if they can get him in the
whatever.
game and get him at least 7 targets, he catches about 5 balls for about 65 yards. I mean, if he gets a touchdown, you get the icing on the cake, but you ain't really
I don't give a fuck.
back
Get rid of him for nothing. I mean, the dude's useless.
up.
Right, put in Baker. I want to see Baker. Let's see what we got. Taekwon, it's
Yeah, I
over.
want to see.
I
Nah, I
don't care
want.
what we get. It's over. Put in Baker. And with Jalen Polk being out this week, they said he's ruled out with a concussion. Baker better be in there. There's no reason for him to not be
Yeah,
in there. You tell
and
me
I
he's
feel
worse
like
than Taekwon? I fucking doubt it.
nah. I feel like with Tyquan Thornton, his problem was always the same problem with every wide receiver that comes out of Baylor. Matter of fact, you don't really outside of CD Lamb, you don't really see no good pros come out of the wide receivers that go to the pros coming out of the Big 12. That's because the way that that scheme that they run over there, that air raid, just run to open
I would
area in
say,
the
yeah,
middle.
not a lot of
It's not
route
focused
trees.
on like precision and route running and things like that. But Tyquan Thornton is the same as Kendall. What wasn't it? Kendall Wright. I think he went to the Titans.
Yeah,
Denzel
there was
Mims.
another Oregon receiver.
No. He Baylor. He Denzel Mims. He was same as Tyquan Thornton. Very fast, tall.
Okay.
Could
Yeah.
run routes. And obviously you got Tyquan Thornton. Tyquan Thornton probably would thrive on a team like the Chiefs because all he really is, he's a deep threat. So bringing him here for Mac, I already seen. I'm like, man, that's a problem. Tyquan, he's mainly a slot for real too. But that's what I'm saying. You got a bunch of guys that need the ball in the slot, but nothing on the perimeter. But I feel like
Mm.
Bootie's your best shot on the perimeter. He
And it's
creates
working. It's
separation.
working.
Yeah, he can track the ball. He creates separation. But I just feel like I said, I feel like with Van Pelt, a lot of plays is very
Yeah.
like simplistic, and I don't feel like they get good spacing on that neither. Because the Jalen Polk drop, remember when him and Hunter Henry were both cutting out to the out of bounds mark? They were
Right.
so
Yep.
close.
Hmm.
Like somebody didn't run the right route because it's like you brought at least like 2 other defenders over there with you when you guys are like spaced in like that. So
Yeah.
that's coaching. You know what I
And
mean? The
yeah.
spacing, that's coaching. So it's
Yeah.
like
I think that's where Baker kind of comes in. I don't know why he's not right. He could be the other outside guy. That's what he played at UCF a lot. Right. Him and Booty. Just see what happens. I don't know why. Like they're saying that like Baker seems to not be ready. I think that's a little crap. There's no way he's gonna be worse than what Jalen Bullock's been playing, what Tyquan Thornton's been playing. Like, why aren't the coaches just letting him just go out there and just see,
you know
right?
what I
Because if
think?
he and Booty can be both outside, I mean that frees up a
You know what
lot
I
for
think?
Demario.
I think they secretly think they got something on their hands with Baker. But same with Drake May, they might not try to roll him out there so quick because maybe injury or something like that. Because the team seems like they're focused more of the future. So it's like a win-loss thing right now for Gerard Mayo. He know he's protected on that front. And realistically, what it seems like is Kraft is just letting him learn on the job because he feels like he's gonna learn it, but on the job,
Hmm.
what it is to be the head coach of
Yeah.
what I mean, of that team minus the responsibilities he gave to Bill. But like I said, building the Patriots, me and you both can sit here and go back and forth. Maybe do I feel like I'll be good in that role? Probably. You know what I mean? If I sat down and what I mean, I do my own research too, but if I sat down and that was my profession, probably. But yeah, they got a few different things that they got to change about the philosophy of how they want this to go because they about to lead the franchise into an abyss because they got to hit on draft picks. So I'm telling you, man, it's gonna get bad.
Right.
And it just seems like it's not many Patriots fans left up there. They were more so Brady's fans and more so like
Yeah.
Celtics and Bruins fans. But the way
Yeah.
like a lot of people in the media like talk about the team, yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
So,
But I
make
think their
sense
safety
about
blanket right now is Drake May. Drake continuing to look this good, it's buying them more time. That's why I think like if they really think Baker, there's something with him, and they think they found a diamond in the rough, put him out there.
I
Right?
think
Just that's
sure.
another safety blanket for them, right? To continue. And like if I mean I don't know. We got to see Baker. I'm so sick of it. Right, coming
Yeah, I
into the
think they
preseason, he's
should.
like, "Get your popcorn ready." I haven't fucking gotten it ready yet. Like, what the hell's going on? I want to
Yeah,
see
I
it.
think they should just because of the simple fact it's like you're not getting a lot out of like anyone else. Like Jalen Pope,
Right,
like I said, you come out say you got the best hands in the NFL, you continue to sit there and drop the ball. So like I said, like him, I think he's playing out of position. But the only way you get him in position, you got to take your best
Booty and
weapon
Baker.
in that
Yeah.
position out of the game. Now,
Hmm.
will Jalen Pope be more effective? Because then, if he becomes to be more effective as a bigger target over the middle that can create some run after the catch and be a vertical threat, now you got something cooking. But like I
Right,
said, we wouldn't know because Pop Douglas is there. So I don't know, like if the Patriots really trying to be sellers to get more picks for this year's upcoming draft, I think the most attractive thing that they have on the roster that they could part ways with to get something of value from is Pop Douglas. Other than that, you're not giving up Gonzo. They're not anybody else the Patriots trade
right,
right now would be realistically for a seventh round pick.
right. That's why I'd be so. I don't want to get rid of Pop. Right, where our draft pick is gonna be
Yeah,
tough to
no,
trade.
me
We can
neither.
get draft
But
capital through there.
yeah, me
Uh,
neither. I love Pop
right.
Douglas, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like realistically, if they because they're not in a situation to really be sellers at the trade deadline unless you feel like there's somebody that you can get there for the future and you're ready to sign them to a contract. Considering they're expected to have
Right.
$130 million going into this year's cap, but it's just like
Right.
I don't want y'all to go splurging because it was a thing. I heard it years ago. I think it was Bill Sims, and he was talking about how teams that spend big in free agency, like how the Jags and the Patriots did, they go to the playoffs that first year, but the second year they win like on average an average of like 5 games or something like that. There's usually a significant
Hmm.
drop off that next year.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
look at the Jags and the Patriots since they spent that money, it has
Right.
a
Yep.
downward spiral for whatever
Yep.
reason because you bring it in. So it's like the Patriots. I'm not sitting there saying that they need to go on a splurging spree. Gonzalez and all these other guys coming up, it might be that we got promised for. They're gonna want to be paid soon too. On top of Drake May and all those other people. So we just got to find our core right now. Honestly, that's what I felt like. We got to find
Right.
branch
Yeah.
on every tree of the team and try to strengthen around it. Obviously, on the offense, you got Drake May. So you're going to,
Yeah.
strengthen
I feel
around
like
that.
that's what yeah, I feel like that's what they did with the defense this past year is I mean, we signed most of our signings was on the defense, right? They're trying to establish the core on the defense, and now we have Keon and Gonzo there. So that makes it a whole lot younger. Now it's
I
really
love
the
I like
offense.
Mapu
Offense.
too. Mapu
Yeah,
and Duggar as
Mapu's
well.
he's been nice. He's
Mapu,
been nice.
Duggar, like they got that's what I'm saying on the defensive side of the ball. The Patriots, realistically, in my mind, could fix three things, but I feel like fixing one of them would help the other one tremendously, and that's if you fix another problem that you have on the edge. If you're able to get an elite edge rusher to pair with a Baltimore and Keon White, I feel like that would help out with Gonzalez in on a second corner. And I
Right.
also feel like the Patriots need some younger, faster inside linebackers. They need
Yeah.
guys that you know what I mean, that's gonna move sideline to sideline and get downhill. They need one of them guys like out of Georgia or something. But then again, Georgia produces a lot of undersized linebackers, but
Yeah. And I want to give Gonzo's props because he's playing like a top five corner
yeah.
with almost no help in the secondary, and the pass rush, it's been almost non-existent, and he's still absolutely elite. There's so little that are better than him, and
Yeah.
like I feel like strengthening that defensive line is only going to make him better, which is a scary thought because it's so hard to predict or to think something's going to be better than Gonzo right now.
Yeah, because it's like, and that's why I hate when people like, oh, he caught a 58. Brian Thomas Jr. caught a 58 yard touchdown on him. Okay, the kid's a first round pick too. Give him his flowers.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Gonzo does good, but it's like, don't come to me trying to like shame down on him when he gives up a big catch, and that's one big catch that he didn't gave up in
Yeah.
maybe fucking 500 reps.
Yeah, and Brian
Like
Thomas has been torching the whole league. It's not like
that's
he
what I'm saying.
just kind
Like
of started getting
yeah,
out, right?
we're not talking about like this kid's a scrub or something. Like he like that.
Yeah,
We gonna get a kid's
nasty.
flowers. He can play.
Yeah, right. And then the other receiver that Gonzo really struggled with was Stephon Diggs, who's been a top five route runner for the past like 15 freaking years.
At the end of the
Right.
day, anybody that says anything different, whatever the case may be, if Christian Gonzalez was on the market right now or he went to the Chiefs or
Oh
something
my
like
God.
that, see, look,
Yeah.
they don't talk about him much because he's on the Patriots. But I guarantee you, if somebody made the trade to the Patriots to get over them, that's a contender, they're gonna be like, does this trade make them win the Super Bowl? Yes. Did you not see the tape on this young man?
Right. Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? He's a player. Like Christian Balmer, like I said, like even like you look at games like Madden or something like that, like the dude did have 8.5 sacks last year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And there was multiple times where, you know what I mean, he just game right. The Denver game, the Pittsburgh game, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Where you just
Mm-hmm.
them game right. So yes, his name is up there with some of the best in the league. I don't get how they take people like Ed Oliver and things like that and put them ahead of them. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's just
Yeah.
Patriot effect. That's honestly just the Patriot effect because once you really become uninterested and people don't want to talk about you as much, they try to make it seem like, oh, well, it's just a bad team all around. Well, I just feel like I said, with the Patriots, I feel like a lot of it got to do with the front office. And I feel like a lot of it started years ago with Kraft because that's another thing I meant to ask you. And
Mm-hmm.
this is straight off the top.
Okay.
Outside of possibly Hightower, Mayo, and Chandler Jones, starting all the way back from 2000 to Belichick's last year, what early round picks or first round picks butted out to be these superstars?
When was Will Fork? When did he get drafted? What round?
Oh, I forgot Will
Was he
Ford.
early?
That was a typo. Well, wasn't he a second round?
Was he a second round?
Let me
I mean, that's technically early, but
let me see. Let me see. Because it's like I say that to say this. Like everybody's like, oh, all these whiffs in the draft. It's not like there was a lot of big name players coming here before. But see, we were winning. And these dudes were coming in doing their job. There was no complaints. But once the quarterback changes, Mac Jones was not a good quarterback. Clearly, you've seen that last year when, like I said, 3 straight games you hold an opponent to 10 points or less and you can't win the game. We all seen what happened last year in Germany in the Indianapolis game. I think like 3 of them games ended with interceptions by him.
yeah.
Just really giving them away. The Dallas game where we got blown out, Mac Jones gave up 15 points himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was 2 pick sixes, right?
One of them was
Dear
a fumble
God.
and the other one was a pick six.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And then he
right.
came out the next week again and threw a pick six versus the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints. Yeah, I was at that game. That was
And if
worst
I'm not
fucking day
mistaken,
ever.
didn't he threw a pick six versus the Dolphins too?
Yeah, it was Jalen Ramsey's first game back.
Was it a pick six?
If it wasn't a pick six, it was at least a big return. But I know it was Jalen Ramsey picking it off. I think it was a pick six. It was his first game back.
Yeah,
remember that.
I know
That was
Xavier
fucking
Howard
horrible to
got
watch.
him a few times too. Let me see.
Yep. Yep.
Vince Wilfork was. I'm checking now. He played 13 seasons with the Patriots. When was he drafted? Oh yeah, he did get drafted in 2004 in round 1. I should have put his
It
name.
was the first round. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
No. His name deserves to be in there. That was my bad on my end. But that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people are like, I had somebody write to me on Twitter the other day. Oh, well, Belichick inherited a good defense, and I'm like, do you not understand that those were already guys that he coached? You understand? Where like when Parcells was with the Patriots, Ty Law and all of them, those was all his guys already anyway. Then they went back to the Jets, or I heard somebody, oh, well, look at the way he did the Jets, so that's why the Patriots should do him like that. I'm like, he had every right to be mad because Parcells didn't tell him that the Patriots was reaching out to get him for a coaching job. The Jets wanted him to be the DC. So when Bill found out about it, that's why he quit the job, because realistically, he did want to be with the Patriots. And that's when the whole thing happened. The Jets filed court paperwork and everything else. They bind Belichick to a contract to be the defensive coordinator of the Jets. And basically it got settled where the league had to step in, and they said it had to be some type of trade compensation for Belichick, and the Jets said they wanted a first-round pick for him. That's how they ended up with you know what I mean? I don't know if you ever read the book It's Better to Be Feared.
No, I haven't.
Oh yeah, you got to read it. It tells you everything. Like it gets deep in depth with everything that happened with the fallout from Brady, Belichick, and realistically, if you read it, it just shows you overall. Like, well, yeah, everybody played their little part in this. You know what I mean? But that's how I really found out. Like a lot, some of it I already knew, but like I said, after I read that book, that gave me like a lot of like clarification about a lot of things. Like I didn't know Tom Brady's wife played as much influence with him leaving as much as she did. Neither, because she likes to be where it's hot, and and she kept saying, Bill, I don't like the way he talks to you. He shouldn't still be treating you like that. So he had some people in his ear, and Bill was very
right.
Bill didn't want Tom to go, but he didn't exactly ask him to stay neither, because the problem was always once Tom went to Kraft about Garoppolo and Kraft
Yep.
came, they built Trey Garoppolo, that's when everything, like, it was already fuzzy, but that's when everything changed. Some people even speculate that Bill threw that Super Bowl versus the Eagles on purpose, basically to kind of like show Kraft that if I don't coach this defense, we don't win, which the Malcolm Butler benching.
Okay.
I mean, look
Yeah.
at Malcolm Butler benching. That's 97% of your snaps. Eric Rose in there getting killed by Alshon Jeffrey. Yeah, you put
Right.
Gilmore on him to quiet him, but now wherever Eric Rose is at, you put him in the slot. Nelson Aguilar's killing him. Like, nothing ever thought to get on that field and make Malcolm Butler change the game, or you don't think he could have changed it? Come on now, Bill. And at the end of the day, listen to
Right.
what Kraft said, where he was like, well, I couldn't believe how Tom threw for that amount of yards and we lost. And why you think that was? That was a showing that it takes a defense. That's why everybody's like, without Brady, Bill wouldn't have nothing. Take a closer look at them Super Bowls. Patriots defense showed up every time, shutting
Right.
down number one ranked offenses whenever they needed to make a game-changing play. The defense came up with it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking nothing away from Tom. I love him to death. That's why I tell anybody, listen, I'm just giving them both their 50-50. They just match so perfectly together. I'm not going to disrespect either or the or to say that they needed each other. They were perfect together. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, we saw Brady go on to win the Super Bowl. Okay, but that doesn't make Belichick any less of a coach, because had he not sent Malcolm Butler into that game, the narrative behind the Patriots would have been that we won our first 3 Super Bowls with Brady, but we lost the next 3, because that would have been the 3rd straight Super Bowl loss after 2 to the Giants, had they handed
Yeah.
the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. So that's what I'm saying. These are things that people don't take into context. Or, coming out against that Rams offense that was averaging 30 points a game, holding it to 3 points. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You kind of mentioned the Jets earlier. That's who we face next. I
yeah.
have very little faith. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is terrible. I think he's terrible. He's been getting worse every week, so hopefully he continues to get worse. But
Yeah.
when he played us, he looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers. So I'm pretty skeptical on how this is going to turn out.
I feel like the Patriots, because we already know the Jets are going to try to pound them. They know they got an Aaron
Yep.
Rodgers problem.
Yep.
I feel like if the Patriots can make it a one-dimensional game against the Jets to, to actually take the run game away from them, which sounds crazy, but realistically, you want the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands at this point, considering how many interceptions he
Yeah.
in the last couple of games.
Yep.
I know
Yep.
everybody like, the Devontae Adams thing, but
I
yeah,
don't think he's done anything. It's
Aaron Rodgers
done nothing.
saying he just don't. He looks closer to when Tom played his last year.
Yeah, and even then,
He
Tom was
looked good
better.
on the way out the
Yeah.
he looked close. He looks closer to that, and like I said, that's just the Patriots. The Patriots line are gonna get after him against that Jets line. I'm almost sure you got. I got the Patriots down for a good 2.5, 3 sacks.
I could see that. Rodgers doesn't move. He can't move.
Yeah,
Right. It's just you just have to get through the offensive line, and then you're at him. Right?
yeah.
There's nothing else you got to worry about.
That was the thing too when we did the he can't move thing last time, and somehow he leaked outside the pocket and was killing us outside the pocket. When I was looking at the next gen stats, I think he only completed like 3 or 4 passes over the middle. Everything else was outside, and then a lot of yards after the catch. So it's like, I don't know if the Patriots going to plan out coming and sitting in zone like how they were last time or whatever. That's not going to work. You're going to have to mix it up. And you know what I mean? You're going to have to pressure Aaron Rodgers. Don't give him time to sit back there and decide how to pick up some vanilla defense that's put together by a first-year defensive coordinator. That's a problem right there in itself. Like, you got to get after him.
Right. Yeah. You gotta. Yeah.
Yeah, let it
100%.
be known. Like, listen, not today. I'm getting after you. He has to come out and smash.
Yeah.
Like,
Put the pressure on him. I mean, right. Worst thing that can happen is what happened last time we faced them. Right. I mean,
right.
yeah. I'm just be in his face. Just get after him. That's
Patriots
definitely the goal.
The Patriots can, with Drake May, that's why like everybody's like, oh, this Jets defense. I always felt like it was a little overrated. Like, yeah, Sauce Gardner, like they got some good pieces over there. But can the Patriots move the ball against them? Yeah. They
Especially
like
with Salah being out, they've not
you
looked the
beat them
same.
with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
You
Right.
beat them with Mac Jones. So it's
Right.
like the
Yeah.
offense don't look no better than what it was with Zach Wilson to what it is right now. So, but like I said, we got different coaches, and that's what seems to be the problem. So I don't even got a prediction for you this week, and it sounds bad because, like I said, I love my
I
team,
know.
but
Well, because last time we didn't have Drake May. Drake May is such a wild card now because like the offense looks totally different with him in it. So it's kind of hard to like determine how good our offense is going to do against them because it's a totally new offense just with having one new guy.
right. So I don't know. I feel like it's all how the Patriots come out and respond about the soft comments. Are they going to come
Yeah,
out
this is
motivated?
yeah.
And
It's
they're at home too, right?
yeah, we're at home.
Yeah.
It's
So
kind of a get right game for us in a way, even though
yeah,
we're kind of out of the
yeah,
picture for the rest of the
because you want to
season.
know
But
what? If you can do anything this season, you can expose the Jets and
mhm.
essentially basically put an end to their season early, like how our season got put to bed early. Because there's a lot of teams that they got to climb up past to even try to get up to the seventh seed, sixth or seventh
Yeah.
seed, playoff spot.
And I think if our team, right, if we're able to stop the run and we play tough and not soft, I think that's a good look for Mayo too, because then the team is responding appropriately in the way he wants them to, right? I think that shows that he still has power over this team. He's still a leader of this team. So not only is it going to be a good get right for the team, but I think it's a get right for him too, just with what
Yeah.
he's been saying.
Yeah, I'm just like I said, like I don't know if being a former player always translates to the game planning and overall game planning and X's and O's of being a coach. But like I said, from
Mm-hmm.
what I understand, Gerard wasn't even like the defensive coordinator that put together them type of game plans and things like that. So like to say that he's unqualified, like I'm not gonna say what he qualifies for because you know, I mean, his status is higher than mine, but he could possibly be, you know, in over his head. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, he's human. He probably it was offered an opportunity, and he wanted to go after it as he, you know, what I mean, as he should. He probably felt like he was. I said,
Mm-hmm.
but personally, to me, does it really look like he's ready right now for the team? No. So it's like, and he stepped in the middle, and he stepped in the middle of a war of an owner that wants his flowers for being the architect behind the greatest dynasty that we ever seen. But he's doing it by trying to basically bash his head coach and justify what he got going on now. But it looks like a fire, and your
Yeah.
head coach is on almost every network or anything like that. Then gained 500,000 followers within a month of him making an Instagram. He's on YouTube every day now. You got Michael Lombardi's on a personal attack. Like he ain't shading it. He ain't nothing. Like he pointing out everything that was wrong with the situation. And respectfully, you know, because Bill's his guy. And like I said, there's a lot of people that's just trying to like throw down on him. So I can get where people like Mike Reese is saying that he thinks it's Bill defending his legacy because, you know, we know shade when we see it. There's no need for you to continuously sit there and come out and try to shade back to, well, we're a bad team because Bill did this. How you think that's going over with these dudes in the locker room where
Right.
basically,
That's a,
oh,
yeah.
you
Half of
guys
those
suck.
guys are
Last
yeah.
dude,
Half of those guys are Bills players.
yeah, the last dude that picked you didn't make the right choice because you guys realistically suck. But we're going to try to make the best of it this year. And if you guys don't win, we're going to say that you guys are soft. So which is it? Is your player soft or you don't have enough talent? Figure it
Yep.
out.
Yep. And Sundays when we'll figure it out. See how the team responds. See how Coach Mayo responds. I mean, it's kind of a big game, which is kind of sad to say because
They made
we
it big.
both
They
suck.
made it.
So
The coach
yeah.
Gerard Mayo made it big with his comments, and because
Right.
Belichick criticizing them all week and Mike Lombardi getting on them. So if y'all come out here and look as bad as y'all been looking these last couple weeks, that's about to go in and continue to validate what they were saying and everything else. Because like everybody, oh well,
Yeah.
they're missing Bentley and they're missing. You know how many times over the years the Patriots defense have been missing a key player and they still somehow got through it. I don't think people understand that last year Matthew Judon was out since week 4, and the run
And
defense,
Gonzo.
and got significantly better over that time span. So it's a next man up mentality. It's a next man up mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I refuse to hear that. Like me, had I been in the locker room right now, I would tell everybody that. I would say something to the coaches, everybody. I don't appreciate that because anytime they ask you about any talent or anything on this team, why don't you come out and speak up for us? Because basically you saying now that you here, we were a waste of talent. So basically what's going on the field is on us because we can't play, not on you.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
then when I don't play because I'm talentless, you call me soft.
Yeah, we'll see how they take it. I mean, right, that's definitely a realistic and reasonable way to kind of handle it, right? I
Yeah.
understand why some players would be like that, but I think Mayo is trying to just get a fire lit on them, and we'll see on Sunday if that's
Yeah,
the
tell
case.
that to the players. Don't come out and say that to the media. Because, like I say, it just kills me that, oh,
Yeah,
they have
it's
no,
just funny that he talked to the team first and then still did that. You know, like I
yeah.
feel like right, he did the right thing at first, right, telling the team, and then like coming out and kind of saying that was just a little weird. But
Yeah,
uh,
and because it's like, realistically, Kraft's being judged by his peers as well. All these guys that he used to probably talk down on and things like that when the Patriots were winning,
mhm,
they're probably having a field day with him. And they're probably like, and like I say, talking to people around the league, they saying probably the Patriots made a mistake because they don't have really no experienced coaches on their staff because the Patriots always want to continue to try to pluck from within. That's why everybody was like, oh, with the Matt Patricia hiring. I we really didn't have another long time offensive assistant once Josh McDaniels left. So it was either go get Bill O'Brien right then, or what. So you know what I mean? Who was the Patriots? And you know,
yeah,
Bill's
because
very
there was the guy who went to the Rams.
the quarterbacks coach, I think, or
Yeah, he was like the other
tight
option,
ends
but
coach,
it
tight
was
ends coach.
clearly
Yeah, that's what he was.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, clearly we weren't a good destination at the time, right? I mean,
yeah, and that's
he
what I'm
clearly wasn't sold on
like,
Mac because if he was, he would have stayed.
and that's what I'm saying. So
Right.
it's like it was a lot of it's a lot. That was definitely like a lot to deal with. Like I said, and I feel like with Bill being the GM, trying to find a different coach, and the Matt Patricia thing, you can obviously see, and even from this book, man, I'm telling you, you got to read it. But even from the book, Patricia and Belichick are very close, and you can see it. They do their podcast together and everything. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was him trying to give Matt Patricia an opportunity to show that he can coach all around so he can get more head coaching opportunities. Because, like I said, there's a bad stigma out there about him. there's also a bad stigma out there about Brian Flores. You understand what I'm saying? Does it
Yeah.
really make it right? Like I said, I can see two sides to it. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because
Right.
people act like Bill is just inhumane, but there are times that he's trying to commit act of kindness, right? You know, it's just ain't received. Everybody wants to make it seem like he's just like this evil lord or something like that. That's why when he defended the players, I was perfectly fine with it because I'm like, three of them he drafted in the same draft together. Can you realistically be mad that he came
Right.
out and spoke about these players being soft because that's his legacy. Basically, y'all trying to say that the greatest coach of all time left you a soft football team. This is why Gerard Mayo can't win no games. So you're not finding no errors wrong with nothing Gerard Mayo's doing as a coach, but the reason he can't win games because he don't have a talented roster. I beg to differ because I feel like if you gave him the Texans roster, he probably wouldn't look as good as D'Amico Ryans with it. I feel like if you gave him the Cincinnati's roster, he wouldn't look as good as Zach Taylor would with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah. There's so many factors, but I mean, experience is kind of the big thing with this team. So
yeah,
many new pieces. All the coaching staff is brand new.
I just
Um.
like the
So
disrespect that like some of the players are like. And like I said, and when you got your own coaching staff saying this stuff too, and then they come out to the media and all but admit it when somebody asks you a question like that, you understand what I'm saying? To say,
mhm.
oh, I'm not even going to go there. That was a time when Gerard Mayo could have been the leader right there. Hey, listen, these guys go out here and work their butt off every day. Yeah, we
Right.
want to win.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to win in this league. This, that, and the third. And then when you look up at the screen, that's our leader right there. That's our leader talking about is let's try to do something for him because he believes in us. Versus you
Right.
look up, oh, like I said, we're a soft football team across the board. But I could be sitting here like, well, damn, coach, you called a bad call with and this and that and the third happened. It wasn't more so about us being soft. It was that we were in the wrong position. But if
Right.
you
And that's a
notice,
nightmare if that starts to happen. Jesus,
exactly.
you don't want
So
your
it's
team, your
like,
players doing that.
and that's what I'm saying. It's like but why do they gotta stay shut? Gerard, you slinging mud at your own team like you're talking down to them, basically admitting to what everyone has been saying that they're talentless and this, that, and the third. But we've been seeing glimpses of this receiving core starting to look better since Drake May has been playing. Like I said, Kayshawn Booty, why are you not getting him more touches?
Yep. I mean, we'll see Sunday if the team is able to respond. If Mayo still has any type of leadership on this team, right? It all comes down to this Sunday, and I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching Drake May, but I'm not sure if I'm really looking forward
Right,
to finding the answer if Mayo's words were taken well or not. To be
right.
honest.
I'm looking forward to watching Drake May and Gonzo.
Right. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully Keon White makes something happen. Didn't he get a half sack last game?
I don't know. I don't think I
Because Trevor
he
Lawrence,
was
realistically,
he was
Drake
he.
May did outplay Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Yeah, if
so
you
good. I
look at their
fucking love
stats,
Drake May. I
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
love Drake May.
yeah, Drake May, because I feel like with him, he's just a football player. He just want to play football. Country, I'm from the country too, but country. He he a
Yeah.
gunslinger.
I don't see. Yeah, I think he was contributed with a full sack actually.
Oh, okay. So what, he
Yeah,
got 5 sacks now?
yeah, I think so. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can just look up. Keon. But yeah, Keon White needs to kind of show back up again. It's been yeah, he has 5 sacks, so it looks like he got contributed to.
Okay,
Uh,
so Like I said, we can see if we can keep that rolling because it's like, honestly, Josh Uche.
Nope, no sacks. Sorry. Yeah, that was. Yeah,
Josh
that looks like he
Uche
didn't
has
get it
about 2
contributed.
sacks on the year, right? 2-3 sacks.
Yeah.
I feel like he should have a big game. Look for him to have a big game in the passing game. If they play him on the right against Tyron Smith, because Tyron Smith against a speed rusher or a second move, I feel like Josh Uche can consistently win.
Yeah, Tyron's old. He's big and old. He's not. Right. He's not going to like if Josh Uche hits him with technique, spin moves, change directions. Right. That's going to totally.
He got worked Sunday night
Mm-hmm.
versus the Steelers. I'm talking about he whiffed on blocks. And that's what I'm saying. The Patriots, for all intents and purposes, they have the potential to be that rough and tough defense. We just got to see it because it's not like they're particularly missing tackles or anything. These are blown coverages, wide open holes in the coverages. It's the scheme.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Yep.
Because like I said, we get tackles for losses. It's like you see Anthony Jennings and all, they're standing up at point of attack on the line of scrimmage. Sometimes, teams is getting up through the middle. We cream puff right there in the inside linebacker position. We cream puff right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, see how Sunday goes. It was good talking to you. Hopefully we have a little bit more of a positive talk next week.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll be tweeting, though. Check us out on Twitter.
Yep. Definitely.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. Right now, we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good enough?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your responsibility?
I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.